Basically, Roger asks Josh, "Why are you not going public with your side of the story? If it's true, why are you not going public with this?" And Josh would just say that he doesn't want to do this. And we kept asking why, but why, but why? We were the ones who didn't know anything. We were the ones that thought they know everything, but we didn't.
I'm sorry it took so long for you all to receive this. I can only express from the bottom of my heart that Method and I have failed you. We will live with this for the rest of my life. I think this is true. I definitely do. Like, I think that Sko is genuinely, this is probably the worst moment in his life. Like, I mean, aside from, like, probably, like, personal, like, family trauma, this is probably the worst moment in his life. And it's important to keep that in mind. Whether it's because of his own mistakes or not, it really sucks. I will endeavor now to be as transparent as possible with everyone who has supported Method over the years and to give you the full breakdown of events. Nothing below justifies mine or Method's inactions, but I only hope to give clarity so that the community can go forward with full knowledge and begin to heal. Seems good to me. January 2019, management received an email from Jane Doe, burner email address, informing us from an allegation of illegal activity with a minor involving Josh sending explicit pictures and requesting explicit pictures. We believe such a substantial allegation had to be investigated by the police and that we were not equipped to deal with such a claim. We should have immediately conducted a more thorough investigation of our own. So this is what this is what I said before, right? And that where they should have looked this up and figured it out on their own. And I totally fucking agree with this. Nothing, Sasha, I haven't read the whole thing, so I just heard about this. They kick someone instantly for ninja looting, but they don't kick pervert. Well, that's because they knew the ninja looting happened. Like, I think that it's stupid too. Here's what they should have done. Like, at the moment they did this, they should have said to Josh, they shouldn't have said anything. Sko himself, or like Sko or Sasha or fucking Derry or somebody who worked at Method should have gone through every fucking Discord that Josh was in and look at every fucking message that he sent and go through that. Because I can guarantee it'd take like 2 hours to do that. And that's what they should have done without even doing any other kind of bullshit. You know what I mean? Twitch clips and screenshots. We know there are a number of screenshots and clips from abhorrent behavior being circulated around the community. This was heightened after the release of the Kotaku article in February 2019. Different members of management and the guild saw these to varying degrees. We gave Josh multiple warnings and we believed he was capable of change. We acknowledged this was far from enough. That is true. Investigation. 6 months later, management of the guild were made aware of the police investigation against Josh, reported to us by Josh himself. And this is a smart thing that Josh did. And not that it's good, but it was smart because this allowed him to control the narrative around what was happening with the police, because it would gain their trust by thinking he was coming to them to allow them to happen, to tell them, and that would allow him to control the information that they would get from the police. So that's why he did it. Capable of change implies they knew something was up. Yeah, because if they wanted you to change, that would imply that your current state is not acceptable. That is true. Maybe that's like that's true. Investigation. 6 months later, management and the guild were made aware of police investigation. Okay. With each allegation, including the investigation, we believed Josh when he said adamantly all allegations were false and the truth would come out. Well, it did. And he was able to convince management and the guild at the time that he was not guilty, which resulted in Method allowing him to remain in the guild while the investigation was undertaken. In truth, we had our head in the sand. We believed Josh. Yep, that's right. And that's why Josh came to them with the investigation, is so he could control the narrative and control the information that they were getting by earning their trust for them not to try to find the information from a second source. So this is a smart thing that Josh did. Let's see. In April 2020, Josh provided proof that the investigation had ended and that no further action would be taken against him, which is true. We believe that Josh is adamant denial, along with the closure of the criminal investigation, lended legitimacy to his position. As a result, we sought to have this Twitch channel reinstated. This was declined, and we presented him an opportunity to stream on an alternative platform. After we learned of his first account on June 24th, there was no room for doubt, and we had finally seen the full depth of his depravity. No excuses or justifications could be made for Josh's behavior, and we terminated him within the hour. How about that? They got allegations in 2018, though. I don't know what those allegations were, though. Like, were those allegations of Josh just being an asshole, or were those allegations of Josh being a predator? It depends, because, like, there's a huge world of difference between the two things, in my opinion. There have now been so many horrendous accounts that no amount of I'm sorry will ever relive the amount of pain and suffering felt by his victims. In the last few days, I have learned that historically the systems had failed victims of sexual abuse. Cases often go unreported due to fear and manipulation, and conviction rates are far lower than many other crimes. This was short-sighted and naive to think that deferring this to the authorities was enough action. I think that he didn't make a mistake. Like, if the only thing was the rape accusation, and the authorities investigated it, and they cleared Josh, then I don't think that it was necessarily a mistake to keep him on the team. It was the fact that he had like, it was the rape thing. It was the girls that came forward. It was the anonymous email. It was the problems that Blizzard had with him. It was the fact that he got banned on Twitch for it. It was the fact that he was being creepy to girls on stream. It was the knife. Like, it was fucking 7 or 8 or 10 different things. And it wasn't just one thing that would have been a mistake. Because if any one of the things had happened, I think, you know, Method could have been like, okay, well, you know, give him the benefit of the doubt. But so many of the things happened, that's where Method made the mistake. That was the mistake. It wasn't just that they ignored one thing, it's that they ignored all of the things. Ignoring each individual thing by itself in a vacuum is fine, but ignoring all of them was not. I'll be taking necessary steps to ensure that our staff and talent, who have absolutely no part in this, receive all the support that they need. They are amongst the hardest workers in the industry and deserve every opportunity that comes their way. I understand and support their decision to step aside. This was management's failure, not theirs. Personally, I'll be taking some time away to contemplate my future as well as Method's. For 15 years, I've worked with Method's Guild, staff, talent, and the World of Warcraft community. This has been the most meaningful experience of my life. You trusted me. I let you down. I'll never forgive myself. So, I feel like this is the trivializing their mistake, make it a societal issue. Well, that's because it was a societal issue. Like, what do you mean? Like, trusting the authorities that are the arbiters of the rule of law in your country should not be a mistake. And in a vacuum, it was not. It was a mistake because there was a confluence of evidence that also supported that there might be more to the story. It's not just one thing. Now, obviously, I think that Sko really should have talked about Sasha. Sasha is his co-CEO. Like, how do you not bring up Sasha and the two situations that happened with Annie and Sleepless? Like, how do you not do that? I feel like that was extremely, it was not good. You know what I mean? And I think that, like, if he had just said, because the investigation is still ongoing, it would have been good if he had mentioned that. But you're right, the investigation is still ongoing. But, yeah, I would have included that if I was him. But, yeah, sure. I think that at least explaining, like, his perspective on what happened is probably a good idea and is something that he should have done. Really, Josh played us all. Well, I think that, like, it's not really about playing everybody. It's more or less about people ignoring it because they just didn't think that it was real. I mean, the odds of somebody actually being, like, the thing is, like, this is a level of depravity that you don't see all the time. So it's like whenever somebody tells you that they're a cannibal, you're going to laugh and be like, haha, that's funny. Because it's just so unlikely that it's actually true. And I wouldn't hold it, I wouldn't feel stupid or anything about it. Right? Like, why would you expect that to be the case? Yeah, I mean, like, that's all there is to it. Josh was a cannibal? Well, yeah, exactly. Comparing cannibal to pedo. Well, what I mean is, like, it's a level of depravity that's very, very low, right? You're like a complete piece of shit if you do both of them, right? Assuming that, I don't know, like, whatever. Like, you guys know what I'm saying, right? It's something that's really, really bad that you wouldn't just immediately assume from somebody. That's the point that I'm making. You thought he's messed up? You talked to him on Allcraft? I didn't really know anything about him at that point, right? I just knew, like, Josh, like, people like Josh. He had, like, some clips on LSF. Like, I didn't really watch a lot of his streams or anything, so I can't say a whole lot about it. I'll pull up the video for Method. This is a video that Method had, Narclease. I think this is Flex talking, but I'm not sure. Pedo isn't the correct term.
I just thought I knew this
Doesn't
guy.
matter.
That I trusted his side of the story, and then I'm completely wrong. And it turns out that I didn't know this person, and it resulted in so much pain. And I just feel so bad about it. And I don't really know what I can say about this. It's just everyone in the guild, when we sat in TS at night, every time we questioned him, he would have the perfect answer ready. Narco can confirm this. Every time we were like, maybe there is more, maybe there is something, maybe his story is bullshit, he would come with a screenshot that like showed that his story is right and that we should trust him and believe him. And that's what everyone in the guild did who was there. Like, every single person. It's not only me or Narco, it's Phil as well.
And that's exactly what I was saying with, like, controlling the narrative. You know, for people that do things like this, it's extremely important to control the narrative. What happened to Phil?
Here's someone like Phil, random people on the internet are like threatening my friend Phil because they think that he was his best friend or something. They just threaten someone that has done nothing wrong, and it just makes me feel so bad.
Yeah, that's really bad. I think that this is, like, kind of one of the worst, like, kind of things that comes out of these things, is that you have people that have their lives destroyed because of guilt by association. You know, this guy could have been acting completely in good faith and had nothing to do with it, but because somebody on the internet has a justice boner, they've got to fuck someone with it, and Phil just happens to be the first person they see. And it's just disappointing that that happens. And I think that really, like, Twitter and, like, these other social media websites, like, they need to reimagine, like, how they deal with situations like this. Because it's only a matter of time till situations like this become so common that you're going to have people killing themselves over the situation. You're going to have people that, you know, genuinely have real problems because of these situations. And at a certain point, I can guarantee you people are going to start holding these companies liable for it, because they are partially liable for it because they allow the stuff to be out there. And people already do. Well, yeah, well, it needs to happen, like, it needs to happen to a degree that people start taking it seriously. And it's like a really sad thing to say, but I think it's genuinely true, is that people aren't really taking it seriously because they're like, oh, well, it's just the internet. It's not really gonna, it doesn't really matter, you know? But I think if you ever had, like, this many people, like, attacking you for anything, you'd realize, like, how bad it really is. Let me finish the clip.
Hearing Phil or anyone else in the guild cry, I don't know.
It's real bad. Like, I don't know.
You guys know Phil. You know that Phil would not ever harm anyone. And earlier, the TeamSpeak meeting, Narco was there as well. Everyone was. Phil just couldn't talk. He was just crying. He literally cried and said, "I'm getting threats. I'm getting people think this and this about me," and I'm just sitting there. And I cried in front of my PC. No one heard it.
Oh,
But
he did his work. I had to DM him, yeah, like.
Yes, we all yapped Phil. We all tried to help him out. People even told him. And then you hear someone like Phil, random people on the internet.
Shit, man. Shit. That doesn't sound too good, I'll say that.
To, like, instantly say stuff as well and just talk about it, but we don't know how to say stuff, and we felt like if we said anything, it was just put fire and we would just burn ourselves and destroy our friends because people just assume stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know, there was countless of times where Josh would just come to TS at late night and talk about his side of the story and dismiss any other side of the story, and even tell us to not believe certain people because they're crazy or anything. And he just manipulated us in this way. Like, I don't know.
Yep.
That he has lied to all of us 4 days ago, saying there is not more, and then all of this comes out. I
wanted to like instantly say stuff as well.
Yeah.
And just talk about it, but we don't know how to say stuff, and we felt like if we.
It's not a surprise, man. Not a surprise at all. And this is like, people got mad about Roger Brown defending Josh. I think this is like one of the last ones.
There was not a single tweet longer yet. There was nothing. And we were sitting in TS at night, and do you think I can say who asked the question? Or do you think
just say whatever you have in mind, it's all open.
Basically, Roger asked Josh, why are you not going public with your side of the story? If it's true, why are you not going public with this?
That was the first fucking thing that I was wondering. Like, as soon as I heard this story, the first thing is that I heard the story from his perspective, and I was like, well, how do you know that he's not lying? And it was just like assumed that he wasn't lying.
And Josh would just say that he doesn't want to do this. And we kept asking why, but why, but why? And then Roger asked him, Josh, is there more?
Mhm.
And he just answered within 2 seconds, cold and calculated, no, there's not. And that is, for example, what led Roger to tweet even under the tweet that please don't judge yet, you guys don't know everything. But we were the ones who didn't know anything. We were the ones that thought they know everything, but we didn't.
It's such a hard situation, man. Because you have like your friend, and you're gonna trust your friend. And like, that's why whenever in like court, you don't have the people, the aggrieved, the people who you took the offense to. It's not like if you kill somebody, their family is going to be on the jury. And it's also like if you're friends with the person who's getting accused, you're not supposed to be on the jury either. And the reason for that is because people like that can't be expected to be impartial. That's the truth. They can't be expected to be impartial. And it's so much a fact that that's the way that the legal system is built around to prevent that from happening. So, did Flex make a mistake? Yes. Is Flex a bad person for making that mistake? I don't think so. I'll say I'll go to bat for him, man. I don't think that he's a bad person for making that mistake. But the one thing that he should have done is he should have told them, like, man, if you have this shit happen to you, go to the fucking police, get the evidence, and do what you can. Because he said he talked to other girls, not just the pooper noodle one, right? And, you know, with like Discord and stuff like that, I think maybe they could obtain the information. It's very hard to know what to do in situations like this. The police don't listen. You're not wrong. Like, the thing is, like, you're not wrong. Like, it's so, like, obviously, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. A lot of times, most of the time, the police come through and they do the right thing. Like, let's not get this wrong. Like, a lot of times, the police come through and they do the right thing. But there's also a lot of times where they don't. And that's the real shame. And this is an instance of everyone being involved, everyone making a mistake. Not just one person. The police made a mistake. The people in the guild made a mistake. The fucking Method made a mistake. Everybody fucked up. So Sasha, someone you're after because making people feel uncomfortable. Swifty was basically accused of the same thing. You're okay with Swifty, but out for Sasha. Did Sasha have a pattern? It's because Annie's a friend of yours? Well, it's because Swifty denied the allegations, whereas Sasha said the allegations had different intent. So Swifty said it didn't happen versus Sasha said it did happen, but it didn't happen in the same way. And also because I believe it because Annie had told me the same story personally 3 years ago. That's why. So, like, I think that you guys need to understand that, like, to a degree with a lot of this, there is a certain amount of a judgment call that an individual has to make. That there is a judgment call. And this is my judgment of the situation. That's all there is to it. Like, this is my judgment of the situation. And I need to make a decision one way or another. And based off of what I see, I make a decision. That's all there is to it.